The 6th annual Detroit Doll Show is coming to town next weekend. It's billed as the largest show of its kind in the Midwest, celebrating culture, beauty, and self-love with dolls of color. Doll makers from 11 states in Canada are going to display their unique creations. There will be doll making workshops, raffles, a doll look-alike contest, an auction, and entertainment. More than 1,300 people are expected to attend. The event's motto is "Love the Skin You're In." Joining me now is the founder of the show, Sandra Epps, along with doll artist Jacqueline Cole. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we have to welcome the dolls who are also here with us for the segment. Talk about the idea behind this show. How do you come up with the idea that we ought to have a show of dolls, and that I think I love the conceit here that it helps people think about who they are and reflecting who they are in art.
I think it all stemmed from me and my past, what I went through as a child, being very ill, diagnosed with lupus, and being on so many medications and blowing up and becoming really large, and it affected my self-esteem. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. And I wanted to do something for other women and children to make them feel good about themselves and to know that they're beautiful, being who they are and their natural essence, the natural hair and their thick lips and nose.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's.
I mean, we've talked for a long time, at least in the Black community, about that need to have the image of self-beauty, the idea of self-beauty reinforced through dolls, and it's still sort of difficult. I mean, if you go to the store, you go to Toys R Us, walk down the doll aisle, there's still a real challenge in trying to get that done.
And it's exactly where I shop at 8 Mile at this particular Sam's Club, same thing, and I notice it every time I go out there. You never see any dolls. And it's 80% African Americans who actually shop at the store.
Right,
so,
but there's no black dolls in the aisles.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's much needed. And so with the doll show, we bring that, but we bring unique dolls as well, because we have the artists who come in from all over the world to participate with the doll show.
Right, right. Talk about doll making and sort of how that fits into the theme of self-love and worth.
Well, I've been doing dolls for the last 30 years. And I started out as a fashion designer. And I went out and I went to a doll show once, and it's like, wow, I never knew this existed.
Yeah.
It was a black doll show. And so I went home and I made my first doll, and I've been making them ever since. And I make heritage dolls. I start from Africa and come to present day. So I use only African fabrics. And we needed we got the Queens of Africa right here, and that was much needed because they come in 3 different shades and they all have kinky hair. And so I do well with them because it's a doll that let the kids know that this is you, and they love it. They love having the doll that looks like them. And then I also do the fashion dolls. So I do a variety of dolls. I mean, I'm just kind of artist that I just like them all.
But one of the things that's sort of interesting is the diversity of the dolls, and I'm not just talking about skin color, but the way they're made, the clothes that they're in. I mean, there's a real range here that's represented.
Yeah, and I pretty much do one of a kind.
Yeah. So no doll is like another.
No, everything is different. You know, I use different fabric, or I use different hair, or I do the head wraps. So everything is different. And with the Queens of Africa, which is a new line of dolls that just came in from Nigeria, and with them, I sell them in the box the way they come, and then I take them out and I custom them too.
You custom clothes?
Yeah, I custom the clothes for them so that I can give them a more unique style.
Yeah. One of the things I have to ask about is the doll look-alike contest.
It is the most popular. It's the most popular thing. When I did it once, it was supposed to have been a one-time thing, but people loved it so much.
To do it again?
They wanted to do it again.
Is it literally you look like your doll?
Yes.
You make a doll that looks like you?
So what you do is you dress up like your doll. So either you dress your doll to look like you, or you go find the doll garment or whatever, but you look exactly like your doll. You have to have your doll in hand. And of course, we put on a little bit of music and let them do a little bit of runway strut there with their dolls. And then we do first place, second place, and third place. And it's for children and adults. You would be surprised, the adults that come along and participate.
I bet I would be surprised by that. Talk about the the sort of cultural imperative behind what you're doing here. This idea that I love the idea that art somehow helps heal the cultural wounds, right? That whether it's a doll, and there are other ways I think you can do that as well. But there is something about art and the making of art and the sharing of art that I think really helps people think differently about themselves.
And I can say that is true 150% because of my background in art. I am an artist. I have my degree in art. But when I was very ill with lupus and I could not speak, it was the art that helped me get through. So yeah, you're right on point with that. And then to bring in these children to not only see dolls that reflect them, it's open to the public. And you get a chance to participate and do some arts and crafts as well. So it's not just coming to shop and
you can actually maybe learn to make a doll.
That's where the workshops come in. So we do have the workshops, and then creating art hands-on. It's wonderful for the self-esteem, mind, body, and spirit.
What does the doll making do for you, as opposed to the people who maybe buy
my soul.
Does it?
and I put my soul into my dolls, and I'm hoping that when people look at them, they can feel how I feel. You know, because not only do I do the fashion dolls, I also do like cotton pickers, washwomen. I come through the whole
sort of history.
I do queens, I do kings, I do warriors, you know. So, and I want them to feel how I feel as a proud African American woman. I want them to know that they come from a proud generation of people, you know, and I want them to feel that in my doll.
How hard is it to make the dolls?
For me, it's easy.
Well, you're an artist, but
because when people look at them, it's like, how long did it take?
I know,
or
they're
you know,
quite complicated.
Because sometimes I can just sit and look at it, you know, just have the doll there with no clothes on, and I can sit there and I can just look at it maybe for an hour or so, just till I get that image come through and tell me what to put on that doll. So each doll is individual, and I don't know where it comes from. Sometimes I don't even know what it's going to look like until I'm finished
until you're done.
Yeah.
And when children see your dolls, what's the reaction?
They love them. Of course, they start grabbing them, so I have to put a sign up that says,
"Don't touch the dolls."
Because they start grabbing at them, pull them off the table. But that's why I started with the Queens of Africa, because they're for kids. They're for kids, and these are more art pieces that people use in their house. So a lot of people that's looking for an art piece for their house, they buy the soft sculpture.
Right.
You know, so.
What is the range of doll makers? I mean, the folks who you have participate in the show, where do you find them?
Oh, thank goodness for social media.
Right, like everything else on Facebook.
Facebook, through other friends, and then over being an artist and knowing other artists who create dolls. So that's been very helpful here. And so that connecting on social media helped as well. Knowing some folks, Myla Perkins and Debbie.
Is there a sort of robust community of doll makers of this kind?
I'm finding out more and more the longer that I do this that they are out there. They are out there, and it's growing. I would say for a while it was not happening because years ago, I don't know if you know Dr. Margaret Betts.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
She used to be a school board member here in Detroit when I covered Detroit Public Schools 20 years ago.
Yes. So back in the day, she was a part of a doll show that took place at St. Regis years ago, and I remember as a little girl seeing that, and it stuck with me. But that show that they had, I think it was a one-time thing. But later on, here I am, making it and doing the same thing, which I think it was needed then and it's needed now.
Yeah, I remember talking with Dr. Betts about that same issue. Dolls of color being not in demand, not in supply, really, in places, and she was real focused on making sure that we change that. Right?
Yes, and although we have more doll artists, we have the Sherry Crawley, there's a lot of people who are creating dolls, but still they're hard to find in stores.
Okay, well, congratulations, and thanks very much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.